even more fabulous mother love, coming to you live and in color. Well, as opposed to coming to you dead and in black and white. I don't do dead well. And I'm okay, so I want to know two of the coolest people probably on the face of the planet, certainly two of the coolest people to come on the Mother Love Show. Now, this is Alton Garrett. He's been here with me before. You know you love me. You know you love Mother Love. And the very beautiful Jane Eugene, who is an original member of Loose Ends. Let's talk about that.
Hi.
Let's talk about that, baby. Okay, so let me start with you, Miss Eugene, Jane Eugene. Now, I love your name, Jane Eugene. Sounds like a spy name.
Thank you so much.
Sound like a spy name. Who are you?
Ooh,
I'm Jane.
I never.
Jane Eugene. You know how they do it. You are.
I'm going to try that.
Oh,
I am Jane. I'm Jane.
That's right.
Jane Eugene.
Awesome. And we're gonna designate Alton to be our handlers because I don't know about you, but I have to stay in a controlled environment at all times. And I know I'm already prefacing myself for the April 13th funk explosion. First, let's find out about you,
good.
And what you doing. What got you into music? Did you just walk into it?
Funnily enough, I did walk into music because I came from fashion college, and I was not enamored with being a designer at the time, but I actually met Steve Nicol. His girlfriend was at my same college, the London College of Fashion. He was coming through there, and I thought, oh, he thinks a lot of himself. You know, Steve was very very dressed up, very good looking guy, and he said he was going to start a band, and I thought, let me come over. Let me come and see what I can do. So we got together. He started playing songs. I started co-writing songs with him. And we then decided we were going to do a live situation. We were looking for a bass player. We found Mr. Carl McIntosh. He was the best player at the time. And the three of us just gelled together. At the time, Virgin, there was no Virgin America record company. It was just Virgin England. They signed us through somebody called Mick Clark, who Steve had met Mick Clark at a record store, believe it or not. He was just leaving the record store to go and become an A&R man at Virgin. That's good luck. Good luck and good timing. I call it God as well. You know what I mean?
God,
right timing. Right timing.
We're not here by happen chance. This is not a mistake.
No. God is our source and our supply, right? All the time. So believe it or not, Mick Clark was leaving his record store job, going to Virgin, and we were one of his first signings at Virgin Records.
Loose Ends.
And we put out Loose Ends, and then we needed a producer, and we were listening to a lot of music that came across from America, and we felt that we needed that kind of smooth production that we were not getting in England, because they were giving us a lot of rock producers, pop producers, and we liked Mr. Nick Martinelli, who was doing some remixes for Mick Clark. Nick lived in Philadelphia, and then that's when our lives really took off. Nick Martinelli was almost like the silent fourth member of Loose Ends. And he produced I did. My friend,
calling me surprised.
My friend Debbie and I were walking down the street, and we saw a beauty shop, like a hairdressing shop, and it had the name Loose Ends. And at the time, I wanted us to have a name that you didn't know whether we were R&B group, a rock group, or a pop group. And I thought, oh, Loose End is good. Loose Ends is a good name, right? But and that's what we chose. We chose Loose Ends. We had to change it to the plural, because somebody else who was bigger than us actually had and owned the name Loose End.
Oh, okay.
So we just put an S on it. So we became Loose Ends.
And
so that's how it happened.
One thing I was really surprised about, because I remember you guys' sound. I didn't realize you guys were from England, because all I ever heard you guys play.
Because the accent disappears when you sing.
Right.
For me anyway. The accent disappears. And remember, we had an American production. So we were coming from England with an English structured song. And then we were getting produced by an American producer, Nick Martinelli, in Philadelphia. So we had the Philly sound. Yeah. With an English kind of structure, right? So it sounded different to Americans. We thought we sounded the same, right? But we sounded different. And then
Also,
especially when we started to do interview. Well, what it was is this: American songs at the time were based on grooves. We kind of came from a song structure thing. So we had, the verse here, the chorus here, and this, and we thought we sounded exactly the same as Americans, but we didn't, because I wasn't doing a lot of the kind of gospel riffs. I don't know how to do that. Don't look for me to do that. If you're coming to my show, I don't do all that. Right? I can't. I wish I could, right? But
you got to
it's
do
different.
you.
So Nick, I do me. Yeah, I do me very well. So it was structured very differently how the chorus would come in and roll through the song. So we kind of had like a reggae bass line with mellow jazzy chords, and a kind of a poppy structured melody.
How about
That's the only way I could break it down.
finding that happy median, and especially when you have a unique sound, you got a different kind of name, and it could be whatever connotation that us as your fans looked at it. And what was that balancing act like, so that you don't get pigeonholed into you could only do R&B, or you could only do pop, or you could do all of it with jazz implemented in it, the reggae sound, and it still sounds smooth.
Oh, I'm gonna say that again. I'll take it back to God. He had the plan. We didn't. We thought we were doing American music. We thought we were doing what you were doing out here. And we, in England, at one point, they said we were too ahead of our time. And that was their reason, that they didn't want to play the record on the BBC back then, because we only had a couple of stations. We didn't have like R&B stations like you had in America. R&B stations saved us. And also we were with MCA Records, Mr. Gerald Busby, who was a genius. He was a genius because he had what? New Edition, Pebbles, Loose Ends. He had everybody. Everybody. MCA had everybody.
He's one of the people that asked me one time when I had met him on several occasions. So he was like, "Some Other Love, what kind of music do you sing?" I was like, "I sing a solo." Solo, you can't hear me. You do not want to hear me sing. It's bad enough when your mother come downstairs and I'm thinking I'm throwing down. I'm like Aretha Franklin, I'm a twin. My mother comes, "What's that noise? What's that? What?" "Mama, I was just singing." She said, "No, baby, that's not singing. Stop that right now. Just don't even do that. Just." And she just shook her head and said, "You stop all that caterwauling." I was like, "Okay." And carry a tune in a push cart. Girl, if I get on stage and start singing, they got a list. I got a list of food I want them to throw at me so I can get it in my basket and don't go to waste. So, Mr. Alton,
I want you to do something.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I want you to do something. When you come to our show, I want the whole audience to sing, right? Because I want you to feel good.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the group. One time I was at a concert out here at what is the place called out here with the amphitheater? It's coming to me. What's the place out here?
Universal Amphitheater used to be. Yeah, but they don't go there anymore. Back in the day.
But anyway, we were there, and I went to a symphony. I went to listen to the symphony because I really, when you say you love music, you need to learn to embrace all genres. That is just not one thing. I got to have it all. And we got up to sing, the national anthem. I told you I can't carry a tune in a push cart. So I'm standing up there and I'm like, "Oh," and I'm making noise. And then people start standing up. The next day they wrote in the paper, "Mother Love turned off the amphitheater." I just thought we should all get up. And well, nonetheless. So Mr. Alton, tell us about your part of this and what attracted you to get Loose Ends, which was a good thing. I just want you to know.
Well, my part of this is that Garrett Management Group is the promoter of the show, and we have a mutual friend with Milton Johnson and Jane Eugene, and we actually met for lunch. I think it was in Hollywood, right? North Hollywood, and we actually drove out to North Hollywood and met with Jane Eugene and with Milton, and and we sat and we talked, and I think we talked about nothing for a long time, just talking, just some friends, just hanging out and eating lunch at Cheesecake Factory. I'm gonna make that plug for the Cheesecake Factory here on.
Okay, and I get the coupon for the Cheesecake Factory. I'm just letting you know. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So we talked and we made a decision, that we were gonna put them on the show and all. And for all you guys who know that this is our second annual show, actually third year in a row. We've done the show in North Las Vegas on the 13th of April of this year, and we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to a great show, and right now we're just into the marketing portion of the campaign and all, and just working to make sure that we get everything straight and everything is working right, and so we're just waiting for the day to come.
Well, I'm honored and humbled by the fact that you thought about, Miss Cynthia Busby thought about you coming to me and being on the program with us. And I so appreciate it. I really, really do. Because a lot of times we people who are darker than blue, we get pushed aside about, where that came from. We got to get pushed aside because for whatever asinine reason, they think that we don't do well as far as programming and promoting our product. And we weren't, because we don't pool our resources together enough. And the fact that you have done this, and you said, I'm gonna get these people, I'm gonna have these people, and it's just flowing right in there. This is a big production. How big is this production, Garrett?
What you mean? Well, we have three artists. We have three different groups that's performing. We have the SOS band, Jane Eugene, and we do a tribute to one of my favorite artists. And I'm an old school guy, Bobby Womack, and Jimmy Sterling is doing the Jimmy Sterling Experience is doing the tribute to Bobby Womack. And then we have the ever-present, Jammin' J. Lamont, who's our MC and host for the show, So it's three acts, the last couple of hours and all. And, great venue, great time and all. And it's going to be an absolutely wonderful show. We're going to, as I always say, we're going to knock it out of the park.
Knock it out the park. I mean, you got Jamie, you got Loose Ears. You're talking about the SOS band. You're talking about, we're old school. I come from the old school. So to the point, I grew up with Bobby Womack in the projects in Cleveland.
Well, I know that he is from Cleveland. And
from Cleveland.
Matter of fact, I had a guy call me yesterday who's from Cleveland also. And he was asking me who was the guy who was doing the tribute to Bobby Womack, because you just don't hear people doing a tribute to Bobby Womack. There's some people, you always got a Luther out there, and you got a Barry White out there, and you got a Michael Jackson out there, and you got all of these artists out there, but no one, this is the first time I've heard of anyone doing a tribute to Bobby Womack. And when we went to a show and the Jimmy Sterling Experience was performing, Sam Quinn and I were sitting there listening to it, and we looked at each other and said, "Whoa, this guy really." So he actually sings Bobby Womack the way Bobby Womack performed on stage.
See, you're gonna have people in there.
Wow.
Bobby Womack. I already know now. Since this, I already knew what this was. I'm bringing my box of tissue. Because what can I call his name? He made a lot of good music. It just put you right there in the story with him and his glory and his pain. One of my favorites was all of them. That's like picking your favorite child. And parents, they do have they have a favorite child, just so y'all know. So you don't grow up and say, I thought she liked my brother better than she did me. Probably. She's not going to tell you because that's your mother, but she probably did like your brother better than she did you. So just roll with it. And the fact that he wasn't iconic, he still is. His legacy continues to live on. Especially when you got music that you can play 20, 30 years from now, and it sounds just as fresh as the first time they put that record on the turntable. See, that's when you know that you got longevity. That's when you know that you're on to something. And you just like Jane Eugene, you gonna go in there and just tear the roof off the mother sucker, because people ain't ready for that. And we were talking before the show. Talk about and tell us about your experience with the new way that they're doing music, if that's what you want to call it, with all the synthesizers, and you don't even need a band anymore, which I think is a talent.
I would like to say this. So the people that are coming to the show, and if you like my songs, we're doing Hanging on a String, we're doing Slow Down, We're doing You Can't Stop the Rain. We're doing Watching You. We're doing Mr. Bachelor. We're doing Stay a While Child. We're doing all the songs that you love. I believe in putting them in the show. You're not going to go there and go, wait a minute, where's my tune? You're going to hear all the hits. Now, as to what they're doing these days, I'm not mad at them. You know, I'm sure a lot of people, if they were from back in the day listening to what we were doing, they'd be like, you know. Every generation listens to stuff and goes,
and then, until they start sampling it, and then it's a hit, and then you act like you know, you could take full credit for it when we know you jocking Bobby Womack. Please, anybody's dumb.
Listen, I had a 20-year-old come up to me last week because they had heard my song "You Can't Stop the Rain" on 50 Cent's show BMF, and they had played it last year in a scene. And it just goes to show you how powerful that is when somebody can bring back your music to today and bring a whole new audience to you. You know, like a 20-year-old's listening to my music now, you know, and it was on TikTok. And I said, how did you hear it? Oh, it was on TikTok. I was like, oh, I
didn't know what TikTok was until my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters said, you need to get a TikTok. I'm like, what's a TikTok? Like a clock? No.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's TikTok. And she just sat there, and like 5 minutes later, she said, look, you up on TikTok right now. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with it? You know, and it's a great way, especially for our young, because a lot of them, well, and for a lot of us, and Alton, you could probably, you know, relate to this. A lot of our music was our story. We could relate to it. I mean, when we would listen to Smokey Robinson and Tears of a Clown, you know, you listen to Bobby Womack, you know, and he's doing Harry Hippie. You know, you're doing the thing. That music has foundation. I mean, you could play just like we could play Beethoven 500 years. Not just imagine what your star is going to be like shining 500 years from now. Because when you have that in your spirit and in your soul, and you're willing to pour that out and leave it on the floor for us. When I say us, your fans to enjoy, you know you did something. So not because you know you've been performing live for quite some time. Do you have like a process as an artist that you go through before you get on stage?
I pray. I ask God. Oh, I'm serious. I ask God to move me out and let Him come through, because sometimes I can get so nervous before you go out there that you think it's about you. It's not. It's about the people that have come to see you. So my thing is that I pray, I ask God to come up and through, and I say that you knew I would be here before I knew I would be here. So please let me do what it is that you want me to do, right? Through these songs. That's what I do. I honestly do.
And I believe that is the honest and best way to do it. That way, when you know that you're doing God's work, you're not going to make a mistake. And even if you did, the audience don't care. We just care that you're performing for us. I
mean, because look at you, Mother Love. Look at the people that you've healed, right? And did you even know you would still be here doing this right now, this thing that you do? And that's why I say it's not about us.
It's not. And you never know. What
you never know
coming to you for, you know what? No, I remember when I was doing stand up. I did stand up for 15 years and found out cuss words out and stay on task. I could be a motivational speaker.
Right.
They call me a humorist, and I appreciate that because life was too funny. You know, you start taking this stuff for serious, you're gonna have a messed up life. Have as much fun as you can while you can.
Because people are struggling to get through life these days, especially what's coming at us with they're just general life. I want them to, when I'm on stage, just to have fun, right? Just have some fun. Remember the days pre-bills, pre-children, pre-marriage, when they were up in the club, when you was wearing, you know, you didn't even know where you're going to be, what you was going to do. My music started 40 years ago. And my audience has grown with me. So they were like, they didn't know they were going to be here on this day.
Girl, if you had told me this 35 something years ago, I'd have just said, I want the phone number to your drug dealer because you talking real crazy. Me being on the TV, me being writing a book.
Right.
And all I can say is like, thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you. See, and I was stupid
Right.
at the time when it first jumped off, and I was like, well, why you want to send me out here to do so and such and such? I know, I don't worry about it, I got it. But what I'm gonna say, don't
Right.
worry about it, I got it. Look, and I was like,
Right.
this is why I was stupid. I was actually trying
Right.
to have a conversation with God so he
Right.
would hear my side of the story. He just bust out. Oh, I got something else for you to do. And I every day up until today to be able to talk with you and Alton and Jimmy Sterling and just to
Right.
be in the groove with y'all. That does my
Yeah.
heart so much good, and so many of us, because I listen. I knew I was too old to be in a nightclub with them kids jumping around and bopping around. I'm like, can y'all turn that
Right.
music down? Sit down. My husband came up. He said, honey, this your
Yeah.
last nightclub because no, you don't fit that. I'm like, jumping around. I'll be need a hip replacement, all that movement. And I'm too young to be sitting on the porch. I like
Right.
it. I want there to be an adult
And
soiree that I can go to.
And so when people like Alton put on something wonderful like this Vegas show, people come out and support it. That's the way you see it again and again and again and again. We got live acts, you got musicians, you got that SOS band with great songs. You've got this gentleman who's going to be like Bobby Womack, and you're going to hear this. You can hear it. You know, people with bands, they need you to support us. Come out, have a great time, jamming Jay Lamont. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be so great, and I'm just so honored to be a part, just a little part of it, and just a little bit. That's something. That's all you need is a little bit, and
just a little bit.
When I realized about, especially doing live performances, you never know why they're coming there. And as a comedian, you know, people were coming to me, you know, after the show, and they were like, I have not laughed that hard, and I don't know when. I just came from burying my grandmother, and this was the medicine that I needed. And I'm like, I had to go to the bathroom. Like, nobody knew what kind of weight they had on another person. Another lady told me she was pregnant, and she looked pregnant, and she said that they wanted to come and laugh because they didn't know if the doctors were going to tell her that her fetus was viable, and she was just so nervous. And I couldn't believe she opened up like that. I said, you do realize we're in the bathroom right here, you know, you're telling me all your personal business, right? And people will trust that. And that's what we need. We need more camaraderie. We want to keep out there making sure that we get to have some concerts, and we appreciate. I mean, I grew up with Bobby Womack and grew up with Loose Ends and SOS. You know, you had a radio and bopping around, knew all the words to the song. Okay.
Yeah. Heal your mind. Heal your mind.
So we went to pick the kids up from school. We got a set of twins, fraternal twins, an older grandson, an older granddaughter. And so we were picking the kids up from school at what's his name is coming? Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World came on, right? The kids know all the words. It was like, well, how you know all the words to the song? It just came out. I said, baby, this song is older than me and your grandfather put together. And they were like, how cool is that? We know stuff that our grandmothers and them used to know, and now you know this. What is it like for you when you get up, you know you gave a killer performance, and you walk off the stage? And because I mean, y'all walk off the stage like y'all left everything on the floor. There's nothing, just empty. You go out, and I stopped getting my hair done, went to go to a concert, because you know how we get our hair did, get our hair, sweat the whole outfit out, whole outfit off. But how do you decompress? And
honestly, it's really boring. I like to have a hotel room with a bathtub. I have a bubble bath.
See,
just really boring like that.
No, that ain't boring. That's smart. That's just come down and, you know, get your bearings together and then go out and do this again and again.
Mm-hmm. Because it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I get more fun because the songs are the same, basically, right? But every night is different because of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that want to sing along with you. Mm-hmm. There's people that are dancing with you. There's people who are going to sit down the whole audience and then just clap at the end. There's other people that are they're going crazy.
See,
the whole show. They're going crazy the whole show. And I think to myself, it's a blessing.
But that's what you
Great.
want. Not but and that's what you want. I mean, I've seen live performances and I'm just so grateful that this will actually be live musicians playing live instruments and live singers, not
Yeah.
and I remember a while ago, even this was even back before Soul Train, when artists would come on and they would just have you pantomiming the song, and just they would play the track.
We did that.
They,
We did that. We did Soul Train. That was one of the most funniest interviews I've ever done, was with Don Cornelius, because he would say, "Loose ends. You're all the way from England," and we'd be like, "Yeah, we're from England, and we're glad to be here." And he'd be like, "Yeah." We were like, "Okay, all right."
And he know he could get a rise out of everybody. He loved everybody. I miss him too.
He did, yeah. We were so excited. We're so excited.
And that's what you want. Alton, I think I might have asked you this before, but nonetheless, you can help us through this. When you're doing something like this and you want to make a big explosion, what is your criteria? I mean, what are you looking for?
Well, you mean as far as the bands are concerned?
And the artists, yes.
We're looking for, for artists of yesteryear that are still doing their thing. We're looking for bands that the people love. We're trying to satisfy the population. It's not us trying to satisfy us. We're just trying to bring the music and keep the music alive. If and all about correspondence and everything that we talk about, bringing the best of the entertainers and the artists and the bands around. And I hear you guys sitting here talking about real bands, with no, that don't no tracks and everything. And that's one thing that we do with as far as Garrett Management Group is concerned. We don't do any. We have never done a show where we had artists that sing from tracks. We have artists that sing from bands and with the full band, and all, and that's what we go after, and hopefully, that's what we will continue to do, because I, for one, when those microphones cross each other and you get that little screech, well, that's good, because it tells me that they're performing, because they're going to just step back or step forward, and that little squeak is going to go away. And that's not, to me, there's nothing wrong with that, but for me to see, a stage set with the drums, with the drum riser, with a set of drums on there, and some percussions and all of this is sitting up there, and then somebody comes out with a microphone with tracks and does 30 minutes or 40 minutes with tracks with all of this stuff sitting behind them. You know what I mean? To me, that takes away from the music, and everything, because we're human. And human frailty is not a bad thing. It's a true thing. It's your truth. And when you hear people sing, you want to hear them sing the songs. Just like I said earlier. Jimmy Sterling does a wonderful Bobby Womack. He doesn't try to hold a note longer than Bobby held the note. Sings Harry Hippie. He sings across 110th Street. Just the way Bobby Womack sang across 110th Street. If you think you're lonely now, just go till tonight.
I got goosebumps.
So that's what we are looking for, and that's where we go for, and all, and that's why we're so selective, in the people that we put on our bill and everything. And when we set our bill way in advance, of the date and all, so that we know that we got the artists and everything. So we want them to be there and be with us for the duration of the time. And also, we're looking forward to this. As I said, this is our third show, our third year in a row that we've done this show. And we already booked ourselves in for 2025, and as soon as this show is over with, Sam and I will take a little break and, rejuvenate ourselves and everything. And then we start looking for the artists that we will be, looking to put on for 2025, and the criteria is the artists that people love to see and love to hear and want to come out and have a show with and everything. So that's what we're doing. So
you're just spoon feeding us, aren't you? You're just gonna tease us with this great music, with these great artists, and just tease it. You think this was great. Wait till we see. Wait till you see what we got coming up next. And that's another way for us to communicate and commune together. Especially as I don't call myself a senior citizen. I'm a seasoned citizen. I got.
Very good.
My husband lick on me. You sure taste good. I'm like, shut up with your nasty thing. When he stopped telling me that, then we're gonna be in trouble. And so, and that's another thing that, especially being a live performer, you give up a lot especially when you're touring. You give up a lot. Your family misses you. I didn't think I would even have this. I went on 3 book tours, and on every one of them, I was like, I miss my husband. I miss my family. I want to sleep in my own bed. And I didn't even realize how important that is to have that safety net when you come off the road and everybody, and just be still and just get into it. Now, do you cook?
Me, do I cook?
Uh-huh.
No. No.
I'll have to invite you to dinner.
But then I have the thing of I like good food.
Okay.
And I like people who can cook.
Oh, I throw down. Down.
Oh, I'm coming to your house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I cook dinner every Sunday. I cook breakfast and dinner every day for my husband.
Oh, lovely.
We go to a restaurant and we go to a restaurant. Can you make that? I'm like, yeah, I can make that. Well, we ain't never got to come back here no more. Like, oh.
What's your favorite meal that you like to cook?
Oh, I don't have a favorite. Everybody likes my black and salmon, my slamming black and salmon salad, and they like my cabbage and peppers with shrimp. And people are like,
that sounds good.
Is so good. Oh my goodness! In the holiday time, I cook up a storm, but I turn it over to the young people because the only thing I want to do with food is reservation. I cook if I feel like it. Yeah, and so. And it's good. It's therapy for me. It really is therapy for me. Because when you're cooking, you don't have time for all this outside noise, And I try to do like 2 or 3 things at one time. I almost burnt the kitchen down one time. I had my food faux pas. Don't get me wrong. And it's always good to sit down and have a good meal with people that you enjoy. Just to decompress.
And conversation. And that's what I was going to say. When I come home, I like to come home to my home. I don't mind being out on the road. I've done a 3-month tour. We did it with Freddie Jackson back in the day, where you were out solidly for 3 months. But I like to come home to my home and sleep in my bed and go to dinner with my friends. Go and hang with my friends and just have good conversations with people you love.
And you don't have to be on all the time.
Oh no. I'm off the minute I can get off stage.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That person does not answer my phone. She does. No, because I don't believe in that. You got to be normal, kind of whatever normal is. But I'm not that.
I was just gonna ask you, what is normal? I mean, when you think about
there really is no normal. But for me, I don't need somebody to ingratiate me because I'm Jane Eugene. What is that? Am I a decent person? Am I a good person? Do I have integrity? Do I understand you? Do we have something in common? That's okay. But I'm not one of those, address me as Miss Eugene. No.
Okay.
Yeah, right? You're like, yeah, no.
So, Mr. Alton, how do you decompress? Because you got a lot on your shoulders putting on a jamming explosion like this. How do you decompress and keep Alton right? Okay, well, you're not going to be right because we all crazy. We all are out there in deep third. I know it. People say, you tripping. I'm like, when they say you tripping, you're coming to my house. So,
I close down every day at 5:00.
You got a schedule.
Yeah, I close down every day at 5:00. I won't do any work for the business after 5:00. I try to schedule my time after 5:00. I try not to do any work on Sundays. I won't call my business partner on Sunday unless somebody's bleeding or something like that, and it's just necessary. So Sam is and I run the business and everything, and Sam Quinn. And I try not to call him on Sundays, and I try not to call after 5:00 unless it's absolutely necessary, and then I will do that. But each year when we finish the show, we leave that show in North Las Vegas. Then we have another contract that we do with a Citrus Fair here in California for the following week, and then we finish up that the following week. And then I'll just take the weekend and just do nothing. I'll just go somewhere and find a hotel and and just do something. I like to drive, so I'll drive up the coast or down to San Diego, and just spend the weekend, and sometimes I don't even leave the hotel room. I'll find a hotel that
room service
and all, and and I'll just and I like to read, so I read a lot.
What do you like to read?
I read. I like private detective novels. The James Patterson novels and the and the Robert Ludlums and those things. And I love those. I love those spy type mystery novels and detective novels. And I did all of the Robert Ludlum series. Way before the Bourne Identity and the Bourne all of that came about. I had read all of those novels, and then the all of the Operation this and Operation that, and also that's what I do, so why I do that. But I just kind of tone deaf myself, if I want to use that word, I just kind of tone deaf myself, to where I'm not bothered by anyone, and all, and I just go do my thing, but it's a good show, it's a good thing that we do, we have the artists and everything that are coming, and I know that some of the people on the call know who Charles Bibbs is, and Charles Bibbs.
Johnny Bibbs.
Yeah.
He is doing an original poster for us for the show.
Oh wow!
And so we will have. He did one for us for last year, and he's doing one for us for this year too. So Charles will be there with his paintings and everything, and with the original poster, and for those who know, we have a food court, and we have non-food vendors that will be there, and we have a bar, for to get your alcohol served to you and everything, and so it's a great day, it's a great evening, and fun and everything and all, and we're just out there to keep people. Not keep people, but have people enjoy themselves, and to be able to see and hear the music that they love too, because, we're going after that 35 plus crowd, and sometimes the 45 plus crowd.
I was getting ready to say, you can have them whippersnappers over here that they 35 whippersnappers.
But that's who we're going after. We're going after those people who, as you said, Mother Love, early on, you don't want to go to the clubs anymore. Because there's just too much running around and too much hopping and jumping around and everything. So that's what we're hoping to do, is to bring a little something so you can enjoy yourself and then go talk about it for the next 6 months.
Have you ever thought about taking your production on the road?
Sure, we have. We have also we've looked at that on several occasions. Matter of fact, we have looked on several occasions, we have actually sat down and put together a package, and what we would like to do and all. And we are working on the package right now, a project that we're working on that I won't expose too much of it, but we're actually working on a project right now where we may actually take a package out of the country, and take a package.
I got my passport.
So you will need your passport to go where we're going. And so we'll probably be traveling to this location in June or July of this year to do some recon work and all, and see what we can do. And we're hoping that comes to be. And then we are working with some folks here in California, because we want to put together, as you heard Jane talk about the time before, when you go on tour for 6 weeks or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, whatever the case may be. That is what we would love to do. We would love to put a Funk Explosion package together, and you maybe start in Southern California, down in San Diego, and just move all the way up to the state. Just hit all of the locales in the state of California, going from there up. So we're always looking for investors and sponsors, and all for these types of things that we want to do, because the music that we bring is slowly dying away. You know, there's nobody doing that and nobody keeping this music alive. So we
You
want
guys are.
to
You
make
guys are.
sure that we keep the music alive, and you know, and these artists that are there, you know, the Jane Eugenes, you know, and the people from the SOS band, you know, and the Jimmy Sterling, you know, and Confunction, you know, and all of these artists, you know, I mean, you know, we all get a little bit old every day we wake up, you know, every rotation around the sun.
I don't know, maybe you do.
So we got to make sure that we keep this music alive for people to be able to hear, because, you know, we don't have vinyls anymore. You know, there's a few vinyls out there, but there's not a lot of vinyls out there, and everybody's doing the streaming. You're streaming on this, you're streaming on that, you know, and everybody's sampling the music. And some 20-year-old will hear something that somebody's putting out, you know, that's sample of one of Jane Eugene's songs, and you know, and then when they hear Jane Eugene singing, they'll say, "Oh, she's singing such and such song." No, she's not singing singing her song. You know what I'm saying? You know, they don't realize that song is 40 years old.
They don't.
You know,
I told you my grandkids. They were like, "How you know all the words to that?" I'm like, "That's a wonderful."
Yeah, they don't realize that song is older than their mom and their daddy sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
And they already think that their grandfather is a Superman. So he set the bar pretty high for them. You know, our oldest granddaughter is 18. She just turned 18 a couple months ago. And I'm just so proud of her. She's about big as this cup. To perform. Now, tell me about your family, Jane.
Oh, my family is back in England, and I have to send some love out to my sister who's in Jamaica because she just lost her husband the other day. You know, there's a lot going on in life, but most of my family, my brother, my sister-in-law, they're in England. Mm-hmm.
So how often do you get to go home to England? Because you're at home in California.
Very, very rarely. I used to go more often when my mother was alive, but now they can come and see me because that's a very long flight. Okay. I'm just saying.
Oh, I understand. I told my family, listen, I'm from, like I told you, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Winters are brutal there. And I told everybody that loved me and my husband, please die on cue. Can y'all die in a month that get sick in a month that doesn't have an R in it? Because I can't do the snow.
We were just in Cincinnati, Ohio. Uh-huh.
Oh, I love the way you say that. It sounds so elegant. Cincinnati. That is wonderful. So now, Alton, what about your family? Y'all got kids, husbands? I'm working on my second husband. Well, he's my first husband too.
I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. I have a son and a daughter, and my son has 2 children, and my daughter does not have any children, and my son works for the school district in the Moreno Valley. His daughter is a recent grad a couple of years ago from Georgetown University with her master's degree, and she works down in North Carolina, you know, for some government something down there. That
he said the government something.
Right. And my grandson Kevin Jr. is a sophomore in high school, and my daughter Leona is her and her mom lives together and all, and my daughter is a PhD, and she has her own business. She does research work. She writes curriculum for online academies, and also, and she's her degree is in the classics, so she does a lot of translation for Smithsonian Institute and other museums when it comes to Egyptology and everything, and she does that. She's an archaeologist by trade, and she's actually an archaeologist and all, and she has gone on digs and all, and that's her thing. You know, my joke with her is that, you know, here you are, you know, as old as you are, and you're still out there playing in dirt, little girl, you know.
You've been a dirty little girl, and you like it. I wanted to be an anthropologist just because of the word. I didn't know it meant working, digging, and looking this room, and you know, can't get your nails done. I was like, okay, so much for that. I'll learn how to spell it.
Right. Well, you know, she loves what she does. You know, she has her own business. You know, and she does a lot of writing and research and putting curriculums together for online schools. you know, and as far as the Greek in the Greek world, in the classic world, she does the curriculums for them, for anything in the classics and everything. So
and speaking about, you know, the curriculum and what people are doing, and they're learning so many things online, good and or bad, and the fact that because a lot of the music that we grew up with is being sampled. Do you think it's diluting the brand, or do we need to, or do we really need to be pushing this out there more so that the genre does not die? You know, because I listen to some of these kids and they talking about they're R&B artists. No, you're not. R&B.
Yeah, I think that there are, and I don't know if this is gonna come off wrong or right, but I don't really care. I think that we don't have true A&R people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that if we had true A&R people, you know, like Mickey Stevenson from the Motown era, you know, and the gentleman that Jane spoke about, you know, who helped them with their music and everything and all. I think that we had those kinds of people now. I don't think that we really have those kinds of people. I think that we are lacking in that because, you know, everything is done in studio. You know, everything. You know, the beats are there. You know, you get the beat from wherever. You know, and as you said early on in the broadcast, you know, Mother Love, you said something that was really, you know, that was really on point. And the thing that you said is that you said something about all the songs we were telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what it boils down to. If you listen to the words of the songs from yesteryear, you know exactly what that person was singing about and what that person was talking about, you know, and all. But if you listen to some of the songs of nowadays, you really don't know what they're talking about or really know what the songs is all about. And, you know, and you're hearing the same beat over and over and over and over and over again, you know, and everything. So I think that sampling is a good thing as long as they pay the BMI and the ASCAP.
Okay.
You know, to make sure that the artists get paid for them sampling their music and everything. But I think that that's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think that we need to keep the music out there, and we maybe find some old A&R people that can come out and give some classes on A&R, and, you know, and all, and just teach these young folks how to really do real music.
What you say, real music?
I think it's going back to real music. You've got October London. He sounds like it's a watered down kind of. Oh God, it's just gone out of my head. Who is it that you said you went to see and you acted crazy?
Luther
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye. Because the people who've really heard Marvin Gaye, they're gonna say, "Oh, he's not Marvin Gaye," but he's good. He's good. Oh. He's good, and he's doing songs again. Bruno Mars is doing R&B songs. Okay. You got Usher.
That little kid who is loving some. I'm loving me some Bruno Mars. I just want to get up on stage and just
Bruno Mars
and go back to my seat.
Usher's doing R&B, and he's a great performer too. You got Coco Jones. She's doing R&B. You got Sly. What's her name? Psy. I can't remember her last name. They're coming back. R&B is coming back.
It's never
never really left, but then more attention is being put on it.
Because a lot of these artists don't really understand what it means to be an artist. Oh, so
but that's not their fault though. That was because of the structure. The structure of the record companies decided they were going to take away all of those things that we had that helped us, you know, learn how to talk, learn how to present yourselves. All of those things were taken away from the record companies. When these new companies would come in, they would get rid of these A&R people. They would get rid of, I can't remember what it's called now, where they taught you, listen, you're going to do an interview here. This is how you present yourself. This is what you look like. We're going to give you a stylist. You know, this is how you present yourself. They took those divisions out of the company. So you know, people were left trying to do it for themselves. Luckily enough, I knew how to do it for myself, right? Because those things were there. But when I joined MCA, back in the day, they had somebody who was your PR person
Mm-hmm.
who would go out and say, you're going to do something with the Village Voice. This is what they're expecting. This is who their customer is. Blah, 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 blah. You're going to do this with this radio person. Or if I was doing something like Cynthia did today with me, with you, she said, Jane, you're going to do something with Mother Love. She's a wonderful person. You're going to just be able to have a great, Cynthia Busby, you're going to have a great conversation with her. She's a conversationalist. She's just a lovely person.
Well,
You know, blah, 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 blah. She preps you. That's what a real PR person does. They took all of those people out, Alton, out of the record companies. So these kids, they kind of just had to figure it out for themselves. These companies, these big conglomerates came in and really shut down divisions, especially in black music, in our music, right? Because our music was not, our music is not born. Yeah, our music was not born overnight. They decided, okay, we're just going to do rap right now. So we're going to get rid of R&B. They decided those things. So it pits R&B against rap, and we shouldn't. There's room for both. Right? If you can have rock and country, which are two different things, why can't we have that? You know?
That's putting you in a position of power. That's putting you in a place where you know what it is that you want, you know what it is that you do. And a lot of these studios and these production houses don't want these kids to be smart. They don't want the kids to understand about, you know, what does it mean to have a publicist? What does it mean to have a manager? You know, I could do it all myself. And then you kind of lose that mojo as an artist. You know,
and
so
when I went in the studio, I had a really good engineer who had a great ear, and he knew when you were out of tune or you were singing incorrectly. We didn't have auto tune. Right, you had to go back in the studio and sing this again. Right, you had to do it several times. You heard that tape going back. Right, you hear that, and you practice, and so when you got there, and in the day, back in the Motown days, they didn't have all that because you couldn't keep burning tapes like that.
No,
you know, you had to get in there and get it right. So you had the best of the best going in the studio. You didn't get it right, you weren't called upon. That's it. Find another career.
I mean, you would. I mean, the way that Berry Gordy and Smokey Robinson and all the people in the Motown era that are still going strong, still doing well. And I think, you know, this is a big opportunity for us in our age group. You know, and I was asking, what about the genre? You know, you said it's dying out, but it's not.
But let this be a warning to the young folk. We older people, like from me to Charlie Wilson to Gladys Knight, to all of the older acts, we can still go and make money on the road, which has nothing to do with the record label. We meet people like Alton who say they want to put us out. We can do a deal with you, and we can keep singing until we can't sing no more. Right? How old is Miss Patty? And how old is Miss Gladys? How old are these ladies? They are ready to maybe retire when they feel like it. Right? Young acts, they come and they go because you don't know how to get out there and perform and go and get your, you know, they know how to get to that audience through the internet, but you have to bring your audience to a show, and those shows are paying clients of who you represent, right? And they will keep you going. They will pay for your house. They will pay for your mortgage, right? When the record company has long stopped paying you your royalties, if they were even paying you any.
And you know, Jane, you hit it right there on the head, because that is exactly what we don't really have too much of, you know.
Right.
You know, you can sing on the internet, you know, and that internet is that something that someone puts the music out there and you're out there doing it. But when you come out in the front of an audience and you got to sing in front of that audience and you're getting immediate feedback from the audience, you know,
right?
Immediate feedback from the audience, you know, either nobody's saying anything or somebody starts booing you or whatever, you know. But
you are so correct.
Singing on the internet, you don't know who's listening to you.
Right, you don't know.
Let me tell you something.
They're in their car, they're in their dorm room, they're in their home, wherever the case may be. They have the earbuds in, so nobody's hearing it but them and everything. But when you are out there on the stage, you come out
whatever
there.
you put on that record, make sure you can do that pared down to an audience, because immediately they're not going to pay for you to bring 14 people like me. Alton knows when I come, that's 14 rooms he has to pay for.
Right.
Now, when you first start, they're going to be like, who are you? No,
Right.
we're not paying for 14 rooms. We might pay for 5. We might even pay for just 3. So make sure that what you put on that record, you can come down. I can sing, slow down, because I can't take the heat. Slow down. Make sure that you have the goods. Make sure that you can sing what you recorded on that record, pared down.
And
Because you have to keep working and keep working. You know, you've been a comedian. Sometimes they don't even want to pay you when you do it.
Oh,
So
no.
I
learned
right?
early.
I don't have that problem with Alton. They are stand-up. Sam and Alton are stand-up guys. But you have to make sure you keep going and going and going, and you have to prove to the buyer that you can put, excuse my language, bums on seats. Okay? They don't care about your big record.
They don't.
Right? Can that translate into, I can bring an audience to come and see me? Because they don't know the margins of profit, because this is a business that Alton has to go through to make this actually work. Because if he's bringing you, he has to pay for the hotel, he has to pay for the sound, he has to pay for the place with the venue, he has to pay for a lot of things that you're not thinking about. Right? So you have to make sure that you are worth his journey and his checkbook. It's a business. It's a business.
That's
music business.
This is another big thing for me. It is a business. No,
yeah.
You got the talent. You could sing, you could dance, you could rap, you could do all of this stuff. But what about the business end of it? What about having control over your name, image, and likeness? You know, as soon as I heard that, they said, well, we want to own your name, image, and likeness, you know, throughout all perpetuity, whether the format is known or unknown. We want to, I looked at them and said, do I stepped on my forehead? And they don't want the young people to understand the business of it.
And I want to say this to you, the young ladies. If you are putting out an image, and your image is all you're putting out, and it's saucy, I don't have no problem with it. I come from Europe. We have naked women on page 3 of the newspaper. All right. Make sure that when you decide you're going to have a baby, when you decide you might put some weight on, when you decide you're no longer 20 and you are my age, which I am 60,
looking good, throw it up.
They will still, I'll put the face cream on, right? That you can still go on the road and your audience will still come with you. Because if you put out just one type of image, the minute that you don't look like that image, your followers are not going to follow you. Make sure that you can take an image that you can take from your 20s to your 80s. I'm going to say it again. From your 20s to your 80s, because as Alton said, every day we wake up, we get older, unless something has changed, right? Well, so for all you young acts that are out there,
twins or a new ache every day. I'm like, oh Lord, my foot ain't working. Okay, come on, get up and
I'm doing a song that I wrote when I was 18 years old. Hanging on a String, we wrote when we was 18 years old. Right?
I remember.
And so we get royalties from that. Mm-hmm. We get royalties from that. Anybody covers my songs or you sample my song, I'm getting my part.
And that's
getting my part.
And when you think about the music industry has treated a lot of artists, and you're still strong.
I have an example for you. We did Sweetest Pain, Dexter Wansel. Remember, it's got to be the sweetest pain, right? We covered that song of his. By the time we covered it, he did no longer own the publishing. They had duped him out of his publishing for that song.
I learned that from Ray Charles. He's even before the music, because you know he was on the chitlin circuit, and my mother was his #1 fan. We didn't know when we were gonna wake up to Chopin or Ray Charles. And so, you know, and what he has said, he said, "Well, I want y'all to understand, young people, own your masters. Don't give them away to nobody. Own your own masters." So tell them where the event is gonna be. I can't believe this went by this fast.
Go ahead, Alton.
The event is April the 13th. At the AMP, Craig Ranch Regional Park in North Las Vegas. The doors open at 4:30. The show promptly starts at 6 o'clock. And we promptly start at 6 o'clock. Every time we say that the doors open at 4:30, that's when the doors open. So you can mix and mingle, get a drink or two, and have something to eat, find your seat, you know, and the show starts at 6 o'clock right on time. And Jay Lamont will come out and get you started. And then after that, we have Jimmy Sterling.
Wait, don't tell us we got to come.
Pardon?
I said, don't tell them everything.
They got to come. I'm just going to sweeten the pot for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to come there, you know, and you can go online to vfunkexplosion.com. You know, that is the website for this event, and you can purchase your tickets right there on the website and all. And for those who live in North Las Vegas and in the Vegas area, Mario's West Side Market, which is located over on Martin Luther King on the west side of Las Vegas, they're now selling tickets out of there, you know, and so you can go to Mario's West Side Market and purchase your ticket at Mario's West Side Market if you live in the Las Vegas area.
Well, it's going to be a fun night to be had by all. I thank you both very much for taking time out of your very busy day to come and chat with us here on the Mother Love Show. You are so welcome. We got to thank Cynthia Buzz because she's on point. That's my sister, girl. I love her to be. There you go. That's what women, the kids. Show me how to do this. And they said, well, see, old people shouldn't do this. You better my head. Talk about old people. Listen, it has been my pleasure. And I am just so over the moon and excited about coming to Vegas and having a great time with everybody there. So just let me know whatever you need. You know, I got your back.
Appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's one of dead people. You're going to see me on the 13th.
Yeah, we'll be there waiting on you.
I'll be coming in. Thank you both so much. Peace and blessings, and I'll see you guys on the 13th, if not sooner. And remember this, baby, no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. Peace, baby.